CSNBXYKWVW by a bug. We're here with Jamal today, Jamal Johnson. And
how's it doing, Rick?
Pretty good, Jamal. And he's here to tell us about his drug addiction. Now, Jamal, when did you first encounter drugs?
Well, the first time I did drugs was back in the day. We were sitting at a country club with my friend Jimmy. He was all like, we were chipping and shit. He was all like, Jamal, wanna go do some coke? And I was like, sure. And then we did it, and it was the bomb.
Well, that is quite intriguing. And how did you transition from cocaine at a country club to where you are today?
Well, as you might have noticed, I used to be quite wealthy, but sadly the drugs took everything. What happened was I just started spending all my money on cocaine and crack. It was terrible. Now I'm pretty poor and homeless, as you can see.
We're not going to do the Bobo part?
Right. And I used to smoke the Bobo on the regularly.
What's Bobo?
Well, Bobo's got all sorts of names. You know, the white ghost, the yum yum, the crack, the cocaine, all of them. You know, my pebbles, my fruity pebbles.
As you can see, this man has been devastated by the effects of drug addiction.
In that last clip, that man's life was ruined by addiction. Addiction, as defined by Webster's dictionary, is the use and need of a substance that requires tolerance and withdrawal symptoms to be present when someone stops. Drug use can be attributed to the substance dopamine, a regular chemical produced in the brain as a reward system for something normal, such as working out or physical activity. Dopamine can be triggered among many number of things, such as sugar, caffeine, sex, even gambling for some. Drugs similarly cause dopamine to be released in the brain. What happens is glucocorticoids are secreted by the adrenal glands. This causes your nucleus accumbens to grow more sensitive towards dopamine and also produce more. This creates a shortcut in the dopamine system, letting drugs create dopamine surges regularly used in the brain.
The addict usually builds a tolerance due to damage to these nucleus accumbens and their inability to experience all the dopamine that is released. When this happens, when the user is not on the drug, they feel lower effects of dopamine and have lower activity in the nucleus accumbens area, and this reduces their pleasure overall while off the drug. Another reason addicts cannot stop using a drug is that they have relatively low serotonin levels. This means that it's difficult for them to feel satiated or satisfied with the drugs that they consume, which means they need to consume more drugs more frequently. Many addicts relapse during periods of high stress when there are more glucocorticoids and when they experience things that trigger certain memories that they have or associations with the drug. For instance, if a former alcoholic were to run into his former drinking buddy at a bar or on the street, he may be tempted to go drinking later that day, even if he's not with his buddy later. Also, withdrawal symptoms can occur within addicts and are usually related to norepinephrine. The drugs, and particularly the dopamine, inhibits norepinephrine release during drug use, which promotes norepinephrine release and increases levels in the brain. When the addict discontinues use of the drug, the pathway is no longer inhibited, meaning that the norepinephrine floods the brain and has a very powerful effect, usually leading to nausea and or diarrhea.
So that was it. That was the gateway right there. Hash, then weed, then alcohol at 14, then acid and crack at 18, and heroin at 19. For 10 years I did heroin. And back then I was about 250 pounds. I had hair down to my waist, and I was pretty. Yeah. You know, I didn't have any scars on my face. If you see now, I've got them everywhere. So this one dealer I tried to rob. Another dealer with an X-Acto. This was a piece of glass. This was a gun just a couple of weeks ago at Isabella over there. And the gun actually went off and it went between my ear and my head and it took some of my hair off.